Okay guys, this is a sequel to our 5 a.m. walking video. I figure out when it's 5 a.m. walking, nobody on the street or very minimal people. This gives me an opportunity to make actually another video. So I was thinking for a while that I will make a video about... Hey, good morning. Good morning. Hello. That's our security guy. Very, very nice person. He waves at us every single morning. Anyways, so I wanted to make a video about what happened or what was my experience like in Singapore that made me want to come back. Obviously, I didn't make a decision to come back to Singapore because it was not an easy process. It was up to my manager. Actually, I made a polite request and kept my fingers crossed, and he valued me, and I hope he still values me much enough so that he made this happen and I was able to end up in Singapore. So I'm just very, very grateful for that. So I just want to talk a little bit briefly about the journey, how I came here for the very first time, and made me realize that potentially I would like to stay here. I don't want to say forever, but forever. The reason why I don't want to say forever is because before I came to Singapore, I was living in the United States in South San Francisco, and when I went over there, I also thought when I was moving over there that it is forever. It ended up being a journey for 4 years, and then I went back to Europe. I went back to Europe for maybe 3.5 years, and now I've been in Singapore for 6 years. In September 2024 it will be actually 6 years. And every time along the journey when I was moving to the US, I said, this one is forever. When I moved back to Europe, to Prague, I said, this move is forever. So I've been very careful to call the move to Singapore forever, because I'm very well of the challenges of living in Singapore as a foreigner. But the discussion will be for another 5 a.m. walk video. Today I just want to focus on how it was when I arrived here and what was so different that made me want to stay over here. Hello, good morning. Oh, that's a pretty dog. Okay, see, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we are already meeting people. Alright, so anyway, the very first impressions of Singapore. I landed at the Changi airport, and I made a separate video on it, which I call Singapore airport the best airport in the world, because it is. So as I arrived to the airport, I could immediately tell that something is different, that I came to a world which is like nothing else I have seen before. Everything is extremely clean, organized, and simply simply beautiful. Just at the airport, the first few minutes I'm just waiting for my check-in luggage, and I immediately getting the feeling that this trip will be different. It was actually a business trip. It was my boss that allowed me to come to the Singapore for the very first time, and then he helped me to move over here because I made a request, and he made it happen. So while I'm at the airport, the whole airport is air-conned, right? So as I get out of the plane, I have no idea what the weather is like. I'm waiting for my luggage. I take my luggage. I look for the sign for the taxis. I follow the sign, and you are waiting behind the closed door, behind the glass door for the taxi. And once the taxi arrives, the lady that is organizing the whole taxi queue tells you, okay, take taxi number, I don't know, stand 5, 6, 7, or whatever the number is. Then you move forward, the door will open, and you start walking towards the taxi. Well, that was the moment that for the very first time I actually experienced the Singapore weather. It was at the airport when the door opened. I was flying, I think it was end of January, from Europe. So obviously my pants were long. I don't know if I had a long sweater or a shirt or a t-shirt, but for sure I had a long pants. So as I made a step out of the building, immediately I was slapped by 31 degrees or so, hot air, humidity, which was probably just a little bit less than 100%. And by the time I got to the taxi, which took about 7 seconds, my face was already moist with the sweat, and I realized, and then I understood what does it mean to actually have high humidity. I have never experienced it before. So this was the first shock, was the weather and the temperature and the feeling of the humidity. So we already saw clean airport and humid weather, and now as I'm sitting in a taxi, I give the address to the taxi guy, and we are heading to the hotel. And as we are heading to the hotel, you simply leave the airport area and you head on the freeway. And I just couldn't believe what I'm seeing. The ride all the way to the hotel was maybe 25 minutes, but there was not a single second where there would be no exotic subtropical tree or some kind of flower staring at me. I had an impression that I'm sitting in a car and we are driving through some sort of botanic garden. It was just incredible how the greenery next to the freeways was well maintained, watered, because obviously during the heat and the summer when it's hot, it takes a lot of effort to keep all the plants and the trees green, and simply seeing all of that, I don't know, I just have never seen other place in the world which would be so green. I just happened to Gabriela is trying to find a position. You want to sit or stand? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I think she wants to sit. She's tired. hide and seek. So anyways, right before I arrived to Singapore, I spent a week in Barcelona. While Barcelona is beautiful in La Sagrada Familia, the cathedral is just from another world. It's just different. The city was beautiful, but the historical center cut down almost all the trees. You didn't have a patch of grass, or not that many, and now I completely came to another extreme. Like I felt like Singapore looks like a beautifully well cultivated jungle, and all the buildings and the roads are simply part of the jungle. Okay, I had to pause the recording because I had to adjust Gabriella's standing position on the belt. Yeah, so anyways, the impression was that we are just in one beautifully maintained jungle. And then I got to the hotel. Hold on, there's another. Hey, good morning. Morning. Then I got to hotel and I was staying in the Hilton Little India, which is more family-oriented Hilton. It's not for the business. So its location is more away from the downtown. We are crossing the street, so we need to take a look. More away from the downtown, and yeah, the room was higher floor. It was facing actually the downtown, so I was able to see in a great distance the high-rise buildings, while immediately below the hotel I saw the Little India's 2-story shop houses. So I saw how beautifully the tradition and the history is blending with the modern city, and it was just one of the most beautiful views I have ever seen. Not only to that point, but ever. I still think that the view from the Little India Hilton facing the city is one of the most beautiful one that I have ever seen. I was staying there for 11 nights, and it was end of the rain season. Even though it has not rained, I don't remember it was raining. Maybe it rained once, but during the rain, when I was standing by the window, and those windows were huge, so that you can enjoy the view. So as I'm standing over there, I could see the clouds approaching, the monsoon clouds, the thunders, then eventually the rain, and it was all happening in front of your eyes like a dramatic movie. I mean, I've seen a storm before, but just hang on, you will get the full picture, because I mean, it is small pieces and pieces that glue the puzzle together, and all the small pieces just contribute to the overall picture. Morning. To the overall picture, why eventually I fell in love with this country. Okay, so I'm in a Hilton Little India, and it is maybe 9 p.m. 9 p.m. outside already dark, and your brain is telling you based on the previous experiences, when it is night outside, the temperature drops, it is cooler. So while I was staying in my aircon room in the hotel, I had no idea what kind of temperature is outside, and my brain is telling me it's okay, it's safe to go outside because it's already cooled down, it's evening. So take the elevator, go through the lobby of the hotel, and as the lobby door opens again, I am just slammed with the hot humid air, and that's the point when I realized still coughing. That's the time when I realized that the temperature in Singapore doesn't change. Later on, of course, I did a Google search and I found out that the temperature goes up and down just a few tiny degrees throughout the whole year. It is constant. And of course, the humidity is, good morning, the humidity is persistent. The humidity was simply there. So I went out, I was looking for some food in the Little India for the first time in my life, and that was an experience on its own. Then the next memorable event happened on the first day, the first morning actually, because I was waking up in a hotel. So of course my sleeping was very light because of the time difference compared to the Europe. Crossing the street again. My sleeping was very light because of the time change. So I was almost up around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Wait, pedestrian. Good morning. So where was I? Yes, so as I was sleeping, it's still dark outside because it is around 5 o'clock in the morning or something before 6. All of a sudden I hear some sort of like a singing, like the religious singing. After a few seconds I realized that sounds like a Muslim prayer that I knew until the day only from the movies or from the documentaries. So I realized that I'm very close to a mosque. Fast forward maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour, when the light comes up, I take a look outside, and now I'm paying closer attention to the surroundings, right? The first night before, during my arrival, I was just looking at the skyline, absorbing the overall beautiful view. Now it is morning number 1, and I'm actually looking at the little India area right below the Hilton, and I'm starting to analyze what do I see. And over there, this is the biggest difference with the rest of the world, and that is that I was able to see within 1 block of street, one corner mosque, another corner Christian church, another corner a Hindu temple. You had within 30 to 60 seconds of walk 3 different religion places, where in Europe usually you would see a neighborhood which is dedicated to a Muslim community. I never seen a Hindu temple in Europe, and then of course, because Europe is Christian based, you have churches everywhere, but I never saw it this close together. Later on I was sort of, explained or not explained, but we had a chat at work where guys shared their observation, and I don't know if it is true, but it is just meant for religious tolerance. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
When you have the places of prayer of a different religion close together, I don't know, but somehow I would think, I don't know if it is true, this is just an opinion of a guy, but if you have a close together, then when you walk to your church, immediately you are facing other two churches, and as you see it every single day, it sort of builds a mutual tolerance, a respect towards other religions, and doesn't create the camps, right? As it is unfortunately happening in some parts of Europe. So over there I saw that having the religious places next to each other to force people to be respectful, and on the top of everything, when you have Singaporean strong laws, it is okay, we are on our way home, we will be home in 5 minutes. When you have these multiple religious places next to each other with the strong Singaporean laws, which are applicable equally to everybody across the board, I realized, and I'm fully convinced, that this is the only way how a multicultural society can live together. Not so much by the churches, different churches being built next to each other, but because of the strong law enforcement. That's the only way how. Hey, good morning. That's the only way how you can have a soup of different cultures, nations, religions, values, beliefs mixed together in one, what I consider after 6 years, very peaceful, environment. And when I saw it, I just realized that this is the prototype of the city of the future. I'm sharing just my opinion, guys. I'm not telling you how it is or how you should view Singapore. It's completely up to you. I really don't care if the strong security measures in Singapore is something that you admire or you dislike because you think that the cameras around each corner is taking away your privacy. I don't really care. As long as I am safe, my family is safe. If there's 200 cameras that want to take a look at me, I'll be happy to wave back, into the monitor, since I'm not doing anything illegally. And when I go outside, even for 1 hour, walking down the Orchard Street, and I see probably tens of thousands of people that I cannot tell them, hey, stop looking at me, why are your eyeballs on me? Well, if there's an additional pair of eyeballs looking at me through the camera, I just don't care, and I fully don't understand if you care either. But anyways, this sense of figuring out the code how the multicultural world can coexist together was probably the strongest point which Singapore made in my eyes, and and after I realized it, that's when I started taking, Singapore extremely seriously with the utmost respect, and that's when I started growing desire, to move to this country. I haven't listed additional probably 200 experiences which led to this decision, but we are end of this walk. I will definitely take the opportunity of another 5 a.m. walk to share with you more experiences with the Singapore for me as a foreigner that has lived in the United States, in Europe, and I think that gives me right to sort of comment on the way of living of different cities, because I think I have enough experience that gives me this right. So thank you very much for staying with me all the way until we reach back our condo. Good morning to you, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.